Okay?
Perfect.
Okay, should golfers be drinking coffee before or even during their round of golf? But what may be a better question is what coffees not to drink before or during your round of golf. And those include things like cafe au lait, so coffee with milk, a cappuccino, a frappuccino, a flat white. All of these, they will spike your insulin levels and affect your glucose levels and blood sugar levels. So what you want to be doing is perhaps changing the type of coffee you're drinking, which will aid your performance and help with things like focus and maybe that sort of back nine fatigue. And I'll show you 3 different types of coffees which you can make, which will do exactly that. So what are the tools you need to make a good cup of coffee? Well, you can make a perfectly acceptable cup with a spoonful of instant coffee. But if you want to be more creative and take your coffee to the next level, then I would recommend a couple of these tools or apparatuses. That's not a word. A couple of tools which may enhance your coffee experience. So we've got a Chemex on the far left, and for that you would need a Chemex filter paper as well, or your classic French press. So when it comes to choosing the beans for the coffee, recommend sort of Googling artisan roasters or small batch coffee roasters in your city, and you'll find like a local guy who is probably making small batches of coffee by hand, and it's a fantastic way of supporting a local business. And it just so happens that we have some local small batch coffee with us today. I would recommend buying them whole and then grounding them up at home, so that you're basically keeping the freshest beans possible just before you brew your coffee. Okay, to make these 3 different types of coffees which are going to aid your performance during a round of golf, I'm going to use the Chemex, and it's quite a nice meditating like method of brewing your coffee before your round of golf. The first one is simply just black coffee. If you can learn to drink black coffee, then you're drinking coffee as its purest. There's no extra ingredients. You're getting all of the notes and flavors and benefits from the coffee bean itself. The other great thing about drinking black coffee is if you don't finish it, you can always just put it in your fridge and have a cold brew later in the evening with some ice, which is great on a nice hot summer's day. The next one is a drink I learned from living in San Francisco. There's an amazing coffee shop called Phil's Cafe, and it's called the Mint Mojito. So you take a couple of stems of mint, place it in the cup, and just sort of bash it down with a knife. Pour the black coffee over the top, and with double cream instead of milk. Even the non-coffee drinkers, I think, would love this. It's this very rich, creamy, and almost naturally quite sweet cup of coffee. But the fat from the double cream is going to keep your energy levels sustained during your round, rather than milk, which is going to give you this roller coaster-like effect. The last one is a thing called Bulletproof Cup of Coffee. You can do some research and look up a chap called Dave Asprey, who's done lots of work on this. And this one is probably going to aid you with the most mental clarity and focus. So for this, again, the black coffee, and you're going to be using 2 other ingredients. One is butter from grass-fed cows. Again, the last ingredient is you're going to use coconut oil. You can use another thing called bulletproof oil or brain octane oil, which is a caprylic acid, which is about 18 times stronger than coconut oil. But just add 1 tablespoon of this alongside with your 1 tablespoon of grass-fed butter. Add it into a blender. Quickly blend this, and it creates a latte-like drink. And what you're left with is this sort of rich and creamy, beautiful drink, which can add sort of significant mental clarity to your round of golf. So what was that, like take 12?
No.
You may be thinking that was a very long-winded process. to make a decent cup of coffee, but it's these small things which are going to add up to a lot over a competition or 4 days worth of competition. So we've got a black cup of coffee, the mint mojito cup of coffee from San Francisco, and the Dave Asprey bulletproof coffee, or the ketogenic coffee it's also known as. None of these coffees carry any sugar. You've got the natural and you've got the ones with the healthy fats, which are going to aid your performance and sustain energy levels throughout your round of golf and help you perform your best. If you want a touch of sweetener, don't add sugar, add a touch of ground cinnamon. That will give you that sort of oatmeal and cookie-like flavor to your cup of coffee. It's a fantastic pairing. And that's it. I hope you enjoy. Cheers. If you enjoy this video, feel free to head over to makingaclubchampion.com, where I try and ask the very specific tactical, practical advice from the up-and-coming players on the European Tour to some of the best coaches in the world of golf. From coaches such as Dave Orid, who works with Francesco Molinari and author of the Pressure Principle and how they implement pressure into their own game and practice sessions, to the likes of Matt Wallace, Jonathan Jigger Thompson, Laurie Cantor, Scott Gregory, and how they go about their business day to day on the European Tour. So head over to makingaclubchampion.com, where you'll find all the actionable tools and goodies.